What is up, YouTube? Welcome to PanFro Games. In today's video, I want to talk about the 19th Tera Type, the Tera Type called Stellar that was added to the Indigo Diz DLC. Is this type actually good? Is it bad? Should you use it in Raid? Should you use it in VGC? We're going to break down the mechanics, and I'm going to suggest some Pokemon that could best use this type. And of course, guys, like my type of content, enjoy these videos. Please leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it. Consider supporting the channel by joining the PanFam and that join channel member button below. Now, as an item, Stellar Tera drops shards, and you can change any of your Pokemon to this 19 type, so it is not just locked to Terrapagos. And just like every other Pokemon, if you have 50 of these shards, you can go to the normal type city gym and you can change your Pokemon's Tera there. So that is all very mechanically the same. Now, these shards are definitely much more rare, and you can get these shards by attacking wild Pokemon who have the Stellar Tera effect on them. And pretty much once you're in the post game, they replace a bunch of the previous Pokemon that were spawning with these Pokemon, so you can defeat them, and that's probably the best way to get them. So far, there's currently no Stellar Tera raids right now, so you can't just spam raids to get them. Your only other way of actually getting shards is, one, you can find some in the world. So if you go to the top of this globe here in the middle of the terrarium, you can actually find 50 shards. But you can also get shards by going to the Pokemon item creator in the Blueberry Academy. So you hit the slot machine with your Pokemon materials, and at the highest tier of the Pokemon item creator, you can very easily get some shards. Now, what does this type actually do? Well, one, it does not change your type at all. When you use Stellar Tera Type, you will not be changing your defensive typing. So let's say you are Pikachu. Pikachu Terras into this. He's still an electric type Pokemon. You're still weak to ground moves. So there's only offensive benefits to this, zero defensive, which I think is a personal disappointment. I think not changing your type to something at least typeless is definitely disappointing, and I can see this not being that worthwhile already. Now, from the offensive point of view, there's some cool things to it, right? So pretty much Stellar Tera Type gives a special boost to all of your moves. Whether they are stab boosted or non-stab boosted, all your moves are going to be getting a one-time boost. However, if you are in a raid fight, this one-time boost is actually going to last the entire raid. So for raiding, it is actually slightly better. And I feel like this mechanic might be more for raiding than actually for some VGC. So pretty much, if you are using a move, so let's say I'm like Enamorous, right? And I'm using the move called Superpower, I'm going to be getting a 20% damage boost to Superpower. And if this was a raid, I would be keeping that 20%. If this was like a regular VGC battle, I would only get that 20% boost once. And then after that, if I use Superpower again, I wouldn't get it. So if you're using a stab move, you're going to be getting a 100% boost on top of it as well, which is actually going to be really good. However, once again, if you use it once in a regular fight, you're going to lose that 100%. It's going to go back to your regular 50% damage boost because it's a stab move. Now, that's how it works for regular Pokemon. Of course, Terrapagos has his own way how it works. Terrapagos is immune to these effects and gets the 20% damage boost with every move that it uses, regardless on if it has been used already. It will always also have been the 100% boost to normal type moves, except Terra Starstorm. So pretty much Terrapagos just gets the cheat. He just gets a free 20% damage boost to all of its moves, which is always great. And then it's because it's a normal type Pokemon, it gets that 100% boost forever as well, besides Terra Starstorm, because that would actually be way too good. And then there are the two moves that actually use the Stellar Tera Type. So both of these moves are going to be Terra Blast and Terra Starstorm. So every Pokemon can learn Terra Blast. Terra Blast is going to be an 80 damage move. It inflicts damage with the user's attack or special attack stat, whatever is higher. Super effective damage against Terra targets. So if your opponent's Terra'd, you're going to always do super effective damage against them no matter what that Terra type is. However, at the cost of it lowers their physical attack and your special attack stat by one stage, which is not great. And yes, because you are going to be Stellar type at that point, you are going to be getting a 20% boost on your first usage of this move. So it's going to be 100 damage on turn 1, and then turn 2 is going to be 80 damage. However, you are -1 attack and -1 special attack, which is definitely disappointing that they added something like this. Now, Terra Starstorm is just Terrapagos' version of it, and it's honestly really good. It's going to be insane in VGC. When Terrapagos is in the Stella form, is a 120 move and it hit all the opponent's Pokemon on the field. So really good in VGC, and it will be receiving that 20% bonus as well. And now for our raid builds, and Arceus honestly has the most potential with this Tera type. And I'm going to talk about the Shell Bell variant first. With max HP, max special attack, modest nature, like every Arceus should be, and you're going to be running the usual Arceus spread, right? Calm Mind, Judgment, Acid Spray, absolute lock for sure. Increase your special attack and special defense can be helpful, but usually you're going to be using Acid Spray 3 times in the beginning, and then you're going to be popping off with Judgment. Now, Judgment is great because this will always do damage based on what plate you're wearing. If you have no plate, it's going to be normal. So what I like about normal type Arceus is, one, you get stabbed with Judgment still. You get a 50% damage bonus. So it's going to be doing 150 damage, which is pretty nice. And normal's really good. You know, only a few things resist normal overall. So I think it's pretty strong in general. And you get your item slot back, so you can actually use Shell Bell, get that HP recovery. Because normally Arceus has to rely on either healing, either on Healing Share or on Recover, which is very awkward in some raids for sure. Because, you know, Shell Bell is the best items in raids in general. Now, what I like about Stellar Tera Type is, since Judgment is already a stab move, and when you actually hit that Stella button, you get an additional 50% damage boost. So now Judgment is doing 200 damage. So you have a 200 damage move with Shell Bell, giving you back so much HP, and you have reliable ways of lowering that special defense and a reliable way to increase your own special attack and special defense as well. So overall, I think the Shell Bell variant is going to be like the best generalist. However, you can also play it in different ways. I do want to mention we do also have Tera Blast. So if you want to do super effective damage as well, you could use Tera Blast too. However, once again, you will lose -1/-1 on attack and special attack if you use this. So this is more like a tactical nuke, but it is still very good. Now, the beauty about Arceus is you can change the Shell Bell to any of the plates. And the same thing I just said will apply to Judgment. Judgment will always be a 200 damage move based on whatever type it is, plus the addition of a plate, giving yourself another 20% boost to that type. So the normal variant doesn't actually get this bonus, but your bonus is you get to heal. So I like the normal one a little bit more as a generalist. However, if you have all the plates and you don't mind changing out plates every now and then, you can just have one Arceus with this Tera type, change the plate on it, and you'll always be doing stab super effective damage for the most part if you bring it to the right raid, and it'll be doing 200 damage because of the Stellar Tera type. But I will say, if you're going to be doing the one with the plates, replace Tera Blast with Recover, because you will need some sort of recovery, but you will be cutting opponents like butter. So Arceus is absolutely a phenomenal raid Pokemon for this. Next up is going to be Terrapagos. Terrapagos with the Shell Bell, of course, and you actually can't change his Tera type, so it's always going to be Stellar type. Max HP, max special attack, modest nature. Now, the stats on this aren't necessarily correct because they do get better when you actually hit your Stella. Your HP stat essentially doubles, which is pretty sick. It's a massive increase. So mostly what you're going to be doing with Terrapagos is Starstorm is going to be doing pretty much all of the massive amount of damage. This move is crazy, and it becomes a Stellar type move when you actually do Terra. So yeah, this is your main damage move. So what you should do in general is Calm Mind like 2 or 3 times in the beginning of the raid. You can use Earth Power, or you can use any other like coverage move. So another good coverage move I guess you could use is like Flash Cannon. If you want to have Flash Cannon on here instead of Stored Power, that's fine too. Because Earth Power and Flash Cannon both have a 10% chance of lowering the target's special defense. So hey, do that move 3 times, maybe get a Spadef lower, and then bam, you're ready to Terra. You hit that Terra Starstorm comes off, and you got that stab boosted stellar damage coming out, and it's going to be doing a lot, and you got that Shell Bell. So it's a pretty simple Pokemon to bring. It's a great generalist as well. I would say overall it ends up being worse than Arceus, but it's still a great option. And of course, if you have Indigo this DLC, which you should as you're watching this video, then you will have access to this, and not everyone's gonna have access to Arceus. Now, how about not legendary Pokemon? What are 2 Pokemon I recommend? I think Superior is actually really strong with this, the Shell Bell. With max HP, max special attack, modest nature, with the ability Contrary. This is the hidden ability. So whenever stats would be lost, you gain them instead. So Leaf Storm, as an example, instead of -2 special attack, you get +2 special attack every time you use it. So this is a super easy build. So essentially, you're just going to be using Leaf Storm, Leaf Storm, Leaf Storm in the beginning, and you're going to be at +6. And then at that point, you hit your Stellar, and you just Leaf Storm again, and you get that boost, of course, but you also have access to Tera Blast. Now, Tera Blast will always be doing super effective damage, which is really nice, but instead of losing -1 attack and -1 special attack, you'll be gaining +1/+1. But let's say that your stats get reset, then you can just Tera Blast consistently, get good HP, and you'll also increase your stats, which is pretty solid. Last two moves, it doesn't sort of matter. Superior doesn't really have great coverage. Gauge Drain is just good recovery, I guess, on top of Shell Bell. So this is going to be pretty decent. And Gastro Acid is just to remove any sort of like annoying abilities that could stop you from setting up and doing what you need to do. Now, the last Pokemon I recommend is going to be Enamorus. Enamorus you can only get from Pokemon Legends Arceus, but it's still a phenomenal Pokemon. And it has a Shell Bell. And this is sort of like a physical superior, but it actually does way more damage. I really like it a lot with max HP, max attack, adamant nature. Still has Contrary, which is the hidden ability, I believe. And this Pokemon is just absolutely great. So you're going to be setting up with Superpower. So every time you use Superpower, you get +1 attack, +1 defense. So you're just going to keep on doing that over and over and over again. And you do have good coverage. You have stab coverage with Play Rough, so that's going to be really good as well. So Play Rough plus Stellar is going to be doing a lot of damage, of course. And the same thing with Tera Blast. So it's like Superior. Oh, those -1s become +1s. So once you are able to Tera, bam, just hit that Tera Blast and you're going to be doing a lot of damage. And our last move, I think Iron Defense is pretty good overall. There's a couple other moves. I feel like Iron Defense can have +2 defense, can be really helpful in most raids, but you sort of have a lot of options in this general sense. But besides these Pokemon, there's a couple others. I mean, like Malamar can work, Lurantis can work, but I do think Enamorus is a better Malamar, and I think Superior is a better Lurantis. But that's why I recommend these two over those guys. But there we have it, guys. Those are all of the builds that I recommend for this new Tera type, and hopefully these do you well in the upcoming 6-star, 7-star raids or whatever you want to do them in. I feel like they're going to be pretty good generalists. I think the big thing you got to realize is even though they're really good, I don't think they dethrone things like Annihilate or Iron Hands from my testing. I feel like those Pokemon are just more consistent for more raids, and I feel like their damage output is just generally higher with less setup too. So they're not going to be the best raid Pokemon, but they're going to be very strong raid Pokemon that I do recommend adding to your repertoire. Well, of course, guys, if you like this type of content, enjoy these videos, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it, and catch you guys next time. Peace out, and have a good one.